Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The World Health Organization says more people could die from disease than from bombings in the Gaza Strip if its health system is not repaired. Gaza health authorities, deemed reliable by the United Nations, say more than 15,000 people have been confirmed killed in Israel's bombardment of Gaza, around 40% of them children, with many more feared to be lost under rubble. Israel has sworn to annihilate Hamas, the militant group that rules Gaza, after its gunmen burst across the fence and killed around 1,200 people and seized 240 captives. Speaking at a UN briefing in Geneva, the World Health Organization's Margaret Harris repeated concerns about a rise in outbreaks of infectious diseases, particularly diarrhea diseases.
So eventually we will see more people dying from disease than we're even seeing from the bombardment if we are not able to put back this health system and provide the basics of life: food, water, medicines, and of course fuel to operate the hospitals.
Meanwhile, more footage has been released of the hostages freed from Gaza and from Israeli prisons. 11 hostages released last night by Hamas being reunited with their families in Israel. 8 children, an 18-year-old woman and 2 mothers were returned to Israel. So far, there have been 74 people released from Gaza out of around 240 people believed to have been kidnapped by Hamas and other Palestinian armed groups. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says NATO ministers will be strongly reaffirming their support for Ukraine as it continues to face Russia's war of aggression. His statement comes as the fate of a $60 billion US military aid package proposed by the Biden administration is in limbo due to opposition from some Republicans in Congress.
We will be strongly reaffirming our support for Ukraine as it continues to face Russia's war of aggression. We will be looking to the summit next year in Washington to celebrate the 75th anniversary of NATO, but not just celebrate that anniversary, continue to carry the alliance forward, including with the commitments that its members are making to our collective defense.
The Philippine government will resume peace talks with the country's communist rebels in a bid to end decades of civil strife.
The government of the Republic of the Philippines and the National Democratic Front of the Philippines have agreed to a principled and peaceful resolution in ending the armed conflict.
Authorities will re-engage with the New People's Army, the military wing of the Communist Party of the Philippines, for the first time in 6 years. If negotiations succeed, the rebels will end their armed struggle and transform into a political movement, according to Norway, which has mediated the island nation's peace process for around 20 years. Authorities in Western Germany have urged residents to stay at home, warning of life-threatening danger after a burst of winter weather led to hazardous roads, leaving 2 people dead. The sudden onset of winter led to several accidents and people being trapped in their vehicles due to slippery roads and fallen branches caused by snowfall in many parts of Germany. The German Meteorological Service forecasts snow and sleet again in many federal states, adding that the weather will persist in the coming days. And the first transatlantic flight by an airliner using pure sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF, has taken off from Heathrow. Virgin Atlantic was awarded up to £1 million by the government in December 2022 to plan and operate the flight to demonstrate the effectiveness of SAF. Made from sustainable sources such as agricultural waste and used cooking oil, it is seen as vital to reduce the aviation industry's carbon emissions, but is currently several times more expensive to produce than conventional jet fuel. It currently makes up only about 0.1% of aviation fuel used globally.
Nobody thought it was going to be possible ever for long-haul airlines to be able to fly on sustainable aviation fuel. Today we hope to prove the skeptics wrong, prove that it can be done, and once we've done it, we then will turn to the fuel industry and say, if you can supply it, we've proven it can be done. If you supply it, we will use it.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.